all of our listeners, welcome to CFOs Not Talking Finance, where we speak to finance leaders about how businesses are actually run across regions, regulations, and real-world complexity. Today's guest is Amit Kothari, Director of Finance at Dayforce, where he leads finance across Asia entities covering India, Southeast Asia, Korea, and Australia. His role spans financial control, treasury, transfer pricing, revenue recognition, APAC consolidation, and governance. So all of finance controllership across India's IFRS and US GAAP. Over the years, Amit has worked in the Middle East, the Africas, Asia. He's handled seller-side diligence during acquisitions, driven entity rationalization across countries, and he's built finance teams that operate as independent assurance functions and not just post-mortem reporting units. So this conversation is going to be all about finance leadership at scale and across borders, systems, and cultures. Amit, we'd love to start off by talking about your current role and specifically about the finance complexity that is very specific to APAC countries, where each country has its own regulatory bodies, tax structures, operating realities. So when you look at such a market that you're supposed to govern, how do you bring consistency in reporting and the financial controls without slowing the business down?
So thanks Chitra. First of all, namaste to your listeners and happy New Year to everybody. Just a correction that I don't look after Australia. We have a separate team. So Australia is different. I look after the Asia region except China. It's a very complex region in terms of the compliances that we have, the languages, the people, and it's sort of very, very close kind of economies where we operate. I think among all of them, India is we have grown studies and everything we have done in India, so we know India like the back of our hand. But other than India, there are countries like Vietnam. There are countries like Thailand, Philippines is still better because of the English, but other Indonesia, where it is really difficult. And the difficult part is basically the licensing between the commercial aspect and the compliance part of it. So those things, is what makes it a difficult but a challenging job at the same time.
Understood. And because you're looking at so many geographies, and sorry for that correction about Australia, but because you're looking after entity rationalization, you're looking at consolidation in APAC. At what point for you does finance stop being about individual entities and start becoming about regional decision making? I'm not just talking about the standalone versus console financials, but how do you drive regional decision making?
See, a very difficult question, yeah. If you see all these regions, okay, and they're very complex in their own nature. As in, if you talk about Philippines for example, right, the complexity in Philippines to manage things basically at a scale at which we in India are absolutely different. As in the compliances there are sort of known and unknown both at the same time. There's then you come to country like Vietnam, where everything has to be in the local language. So then you have to continuously deal with the consultants that you have. You have to license it properly. You have to make sure that the controls and everything that you have are put in place to ensure that all the checks and balances are there basically to ensure that whatever is streaming into the system is correct, and the controls are basically perfect to ensure that the business is not affecting because of the complexities around these day-to-day work like that.
Understood. At this point, I would like to go back to where it all began. You started off where you had to travel 4 kilometers just to reach one way, just to reach your school from a small village in Uttarakhand, which is a beautiful state, of course. But from there to now looking after multiple geographies and essentially handling all of financial control across so many geographies, Asia Pacific. How has the journey been? What do you think is something that Amit of all those years ago and Amit of now you still have in common with that Got
Yeah, I
it.
have everything common. I've got friends who are with me for last 20 years almost. And I don't know, they complain or it's a compliment they keep giving every time, you haven't changed. So everything remains the same. Yeah, there was a time when now obviously they have roads and all, but there was a time earlier when I used to go to school of my kids' age. So there was no, roads and all. So I have to travel all the way. But yeah, like God has been kind, and the journey has been really smooth. Really, it's some hiccups here and there, but otherwise it has been really a good journey, and yeah, I cherish it. Yeah.
Is this because of one of your philosophies where you believe that no job is a small job? So essentially, you're saying no opportunity is too small.
Yeah, of
You should
course.
always stay open to kind of explore.
100%, 100%. And I think like anybody who starts the CA journey, right? We are all sort of, like after any day, the job, it's just that, you need to be ready to take this new opportunity, and whatever it comes, whenever it comes. In the forge, as they say, when the going gets tough, the tougher gets going. So I think it applies in the real life also, that just be ready for any situation it comes. Doesn't matter locally, internationally, wherever it comes. And if it comes, take it with full both hands open, and I'm sure with the stars on your side, you will achieve whatever is desired. Yeah.
Fair enough. But looking across all of the different roles or profiles or companies that you were working in, which one particular role taught you the most, even if at that time it didn't look too glamorous?
It doesn't look too glamorous.
Yeah, it did not seem like, oh, this is a great opportunity.
Actually,
you happened to take it up, but it taught you a lot.
So there was nobody in my family who was a chartered accountant, right? I was the first in my family. I am, but initially the analyst and that kind of role is what I think I was, like, wow, it's a flashy role. But eventually I've realized I'm an accountant. And this gives me, every day my debit and credits reconcile. So that gives me more happiness. Like in the last 2 years, I've realized, by hardcore, I'm an accountant, and this is what I've always meant to work. I realized it, yeah.
Wonderful. But I've seen this in a lot of, hardcore accountants. So we also have a large technical accounting practice. Everybody there, and some of my former colleagues in KPMG also, when they are so into accounting, they absolutely love it. So the subject gives them a lot of, it gives them a different kind of purpose. It gives them a different kind of high. And, studying any new regulation that comes up, any new change in, disclosures or notes to accounts, they love it. So I'm assuming you're also equally passionate about the subject.
I'm surprised myself, actually, honestly. It never started like that. Never. I was never an accounting fan or anybody. So I don't know, in this part of the world, when we studied, during the CA, I used to go to coaching. And I was like, what? This is such a boring subject and all. But now, from last 3-4 years, I've realized that I'm an accountant. Yeah. So I keep telling so any new project comes in, my in my office, and they say, oh, this is something you want to do. I said, yeah, sure. As I said, right, I'm always open. But this is not what I'm, 100% going to do, because I'm an accountant. So yes, I've realized this potential.
Understood. But now, Amit, now that you are in a senior finance role, we do want to talk about your leadership styles. How do you, every day by day, how do you create an environment where your people, your team, they feel safe enough to challenge you, right? Especially in, MNCs and larger companies that have a multi-geography presence. Here, hierarchy is pretty strong. You can't just question your superiors all the time. So how do you create an environment where your team feels, safe enough to come and tell you they don't agree with you on any particular aspect?
So in Dayforce, like, we are a really, really good working environment. Really relaxed, calm. Everybody can ask any questions, and I've been very kind that my bosses, they are very open to ask me anything, criticism, whatever it is, right? And so is me with I mean, very interestingly, that one of my boss, he used to say that in the calls, and he never said that Amit reports to me or something like that. He said Amit works with me. So that sort of is culture is what we have here, and that sort of the thing is what I believe I've groom my fellow daymakers in my team to inculcate that. And I think how we lead is something that we lead by examples, and you're always there to lead that, by setting the examples, not only by talking. So if there is some new challenge, you guide the team, this is how it needs to be done, these things, get ready for these step by step plans, and let them execute it, and ensure that you're there just as a overviewing things are working perfectly fine, and if there are any drawbacks, constraints, then we can all together work it out and solve it. So basically, lead from the front is what I think is how I take any problem among it. Yeah.
Got it. So being watchful, but not necessarily being a micromanager.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. I'm not at all somebody who does the micromanagement. So if somebody calls me and say that, I have to take a leave tomorrow, I said, yeah, it's fine. Just put a leave on the system, and why are you even calling me? So yeah. So, I think in today's world, somebody said this earlier to me, quite like maybe 7-8 years ago, that we are all what do you call generation?
Millennials. Yeah, we are millennials, and now it's the time for the Gen Z to come into prominence.
So I don't think, like he said, that we millennials don't actually require managers. So I think he's right in a sense that we all can manage ourselves, and if we have so I that's the philosophy basically upon which I work upon. You don't need to micromanage any particular person, but of course there are times when you have to take a hard step and tell them that. But otherwise, generally people are okay if you're telling them this, and they know that there's a transparency between both of us. I think it works.
Right. You have mentioned to us that you follow geopolitics very closely, and you like taking time out for yourself. You like to go on long drives with your family and spend time in the mountains. So how important is it for you to find that work-life balance? Because specifically, right, being in controllership, there will be deadlines, and that is something that is a part of your life now. But how strict are you about making and carving some time out for your personal life, and do you also ensure that your team does the same?
Yeah, I think it is very important, and therefore we really give value to your family time, to yourself, and time away from work and all that stuff. So yeah, it is very important. And how do I make sure? Probably I'm among the team who's least into it, and every time somebody, even like someone told me that you like work. I said I never, but yeah, this I keep getting this. But how do I make sure is I tell everybody that you have to take leaves. It's important for them, for their mental growth also, for they find peace and with the family and so it's important to take holidays, spend time with your family. Even if you're sitting at home, just shut down the laptop. You don't want to go anywhere outside, it's fine, but yeah, take time for your family. That's the number one rule, like family comes first. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think I can talk for hours and hours and hours about geopolitics, what's happening around the world. And anybody who knows me, they know that this is something which is really my I can keep talking about it. I just love it. Yeah. So
and increasingly in our world, roles, where everyday decisions are influenced by global events.
Yes.
It is very important for finance leaders to maybe stay aware of the world beyond spreadsheets as well.
Yeah, of course. Very important to know. It helps you to understand I'll give you a small example, like transfer pricing. So you just, if you know geopolitics, it is very easy to connect the dots to transfer pricing as well. So yeah, and I don't know how this interest came in, but yeah, I think I'm too much into it now. Sometimes I feel like extremely into it. So, but yeah, I like it. And driving and mountain is something which can never take me off. I'm a party, so I'm born in these mountains, and so it's just that my soul lives there. So yeah. My wife, nice. My kids, everybody, like in my family, we all love mountains. Yeah.
Wonderful. For someone who's so passionate about technical accounting and what is the kind of mindset, right? Or one habit maybe that you feel, especially in a global role like yours, where the
Yeah.
purview is much more than just your own task. You're also managing people.
Yeah.
What is one habit or mindset that matters more than your subject matter expertise or your technical skills, or how
So
well
I
you know the accounting standards?
so I think how well you know accounting standard is secondary, right? I mean, of course, for accountant it's everything, but other than that, what's more important, what I feel is the human connection that you make. Very important, very important. You understand the materiality of the subject. It's so easy to license. Like, I'll tell you, among all these countries that I take care, I have the numbers of my auditors on my phone, and some of them don't even speak English. you know so that is very important, to have that human connection. Very important. Nothing can beat that off. No AI can beat that off, is what I feel. So sometimes, there are some of they have become like friends to me, honestly. They leave their firm, even with the KPs. Yeah, KPs of the world. So I'll give you an example. So this year I went to KPMG Singapore, and I met my partner and the manager there, and they were gracious to took me to their office, and they showed. So I said, yeah, this office you have opened in 2023, right? And they said, oh, how do you know? So I said, yeah, because I came here in February 2023, and that time there was other partner, and that time he said that, oh, last month we just opened this cafeteria last month only. So they're so happy to see that, I know this when they open this office. So I think this human connection is really, really important. Yeah, because it's easy to connect, and then it's easy for them to tell you, this is the problem, and that's how we can get out of this situation. Basically, is what I feel very important. And second thing is, you need to in our business, you need to understand the materiality of it. Like, not everything is worth dying for, but yeah, there are some like aspects of it where it has to reconcile.
I love how you've taken the audit concept of materiality and you assigned it to to a worldly life view, that not everything is something that is worth dying over or fretting over, and you need to choose what disturbs your peace of mind.
Yeah, I keep telling this to my wife also. It is not material, and she's into HR. She's like, "What? What did you say?" Yeah, it's okay. It's very good.
NSI,
Let it be.
NSI, yeah.
Yeah, so let it be.
Wonderful. Yeah. Amazing, Amit. So generally, finance leaders tend to take themselves very seriously, and that's why we have a silly rapid fire round. But I see that you are somebody who's extremely fun loving, and you don't take yourself too seriously, so you don't need an introduction to this particular round. But yeah, in this wonderful. So in this rapid fire round, essentially, you need to say the first thing that comes to your mind. You're not supposed to think too much about it. So we'll start that off. When do you do your best thinking? Early mornings or late at night?
I think I'm somebody who's good late at evening times. Not early morning guy. Never.
Right.
Yeah.
So most of your brainstorming, if there's a particularly difficult file or deliverable that you have to wrap up, it's happening at night.
Yeah, 4:30 to 8 o'clock. I think that's when I peak. Yeah, my peak point. 4:30 to 8 o'clock.
Got it. Are you a tea person or a coffee person?
Oh, tea any day. And
okay, so does the productive 4:30 hours start after you had your tea?
No, it's not like that. But I think I love tea. Whenever I go to North America and Australia and all these, the one thing which I don't miss the food, but I miss the tea. Yeah. So tea is something which. Yeah.
Got it. A long drive in Gurgaon or a short 2-day break in the mountains?
Anytime breaks in the mountain. Even if I get 6 hours in my break, I would love to drive my car up in the mountains. Any day.
If you have to have a particularly tough conversation, do you prefer an email or a call or face-to-face?
I think I'm not really good in tough communications, which I've realized. So maybe email is fine. I'll first put on an email, and once just break the ceiling, and then the communication opens, and then anything is okay. Yeah.
Got it. Which is the country or city that surprised you the most professionally?
I think Singapore.
Okay, why so?
Singapore, as a country is something that, it's a small country or a city or whatever you call it, right? And it's been made up in a way so professional that they basically work it out in a way that the economy needs to keep running. So that there's an aspect behind it, how the city runs, and I find it really, really, amazing. Like I'll give you a small example, okay? So if you're in an escalator, right, and if you're coming down or going up, right, so everybody will be on the left side. Very, very small thing, right? But it's inculcated in their minds, and that so whosoever is like really running after short, right, they can just quickly go on from the right side. I find it very amazing. Another thing is that if you pick up any drink there, on the drink itself they are marked like like how many level of sugar they have, some color coding they give, red, orange, green, that sort of thing. So I find it's maybe it's a small city, it's relatively easy to manage, but but all excuses at least for us, but otherwise it's definitely run very well. Yeah.
Got it. Now that you're overlooking teams, I'm sure delegation is a big part of
Yes.
Of what you need to do. But what is one thing? It's either preparation of a file or a memo or some deliverable, maybe monthly reporting pack, something that you do that you can delegate, but you secretly enjoy doing it yourself. That's why you're only doing it.
There was one thing which even long back I've delegated that also. That was the reviewing the salary files.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. Even as when I was in audit and we used to get the payroll files, obviously it was a lot of fun to kind of use it and see who is making how much.
Human psyche. But
Exactly. Got it. What is one geopolitical situation that you're currently tracking and that you're needing
like
to research in?
4 days ago, what
Venezuela.
happened in the Venezuela. So and what will be the repercussions? So let's see.
That'll be fun to watch. Amit, I'm sure we'll be in touch with you to know more about your thoughts on what happens with with all Venezuela and Trump and what he decides to do. But that's a conversation for later. We have thoroughly enjoyed having you with us on the podcast. We've had a great time. We've spoken about multiple issues, about finance, about controllership, but also about a lot of things about you being from the Pahar, so always loving the mountains, about long drives, about taking time outside of work. And I think that this was a wonderful conversation for us. I hope you had a good time as well.
Oh, such a pleasure, Ryan, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity, and looking forward to have this again. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Amit. Have a good day.